Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here at Robin's Boot Camp 2022 in Nashville. We have a special treat today. I'm going to be here representing Sherweb, interviewing Brian Cheatham. Brian, tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so my business name is Get Cloud Savvy, and we are focused on Microsoft consulting, but we also have an MSP side to that. We have a long history of Microsoft consulting. My very first exam in Microsoft was 1997, so I've been doing this for a very long time. And that's kind of the foundation of Get Cloud Savvy is Microsoft consulting.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Before we get started talking a little bit about what Brian's experience like with Sherweb, I want to just take a few sentences and describe who Sherweb is. Sherweb is a born-in-the-cloud company. We've been in business for 20 years. We distribute best-in-class cloud products through our marketplace, as well as our own partner services and hosted solutions that help MSPs thrive and be successful in today's modern world of work. So I always like to take this opportunity to learn a little bit about your business. How long have you been in business for?
Yeah, so Get Cloud Savvy has been around since 2016. It kind of started off as a training, more or less. The bulb coming out of the sky or the cloud type of thing concept. But I've always had that Microsoft consulting background. That's really where we started. So we've been around for quite a while. The MSP side of it really didn't come about until probably about 7 months ago when I first started talking with you guys.
Great, that's awesome. So where are you based? Do you work on any specific verticals?
Yeah, right now we're out of San Antonio, Texas. We do service, global, or we're really national first. We do global as well if we need to. But that's one of the reasons we're here is trying to focus our target market somewhere. And that's why we were looking really for a cloud solution provider, an indirect provider that could help us, get to that next level, So Sherweb is where we landed.
That's great. That's great to hear. So in terms of digging in, get to the next level. So the idea was that you would expand it to a point and you needed some assistance to further expand, or was it an issue of staff augmentation, or what was the main driver that got you to us?
Yeah, well, I'm one person. We have a small team. So we definitely have a small team. So that scalability factor was a huge thing for us. The scalability just around the licensing side of things. You guys have the Microsoft 365 licensing, which comes with the 24/7 support. So that's huge for us. So we leverage that a lot. We leverage your presales, and we leverage your professional services as well. So we use those, and eventually we'll probably white label those. But right now, we're really kind of just starting off on the co-branded model. So that's another thing that's good for us too, is we can start off in a co-branded model, and then later on, move to a white label. So
that's great. Yeah. You brought up three pieces that I really want to kind of drill down on. So you mentioned the three things that you enjoy about Sherweb is being able to provision all of your licensing from one spot, the idea that you can have technical support as well as pre-sales support. So let's talk a bit about your account management team. I know that you're managed by my colleague, Alan. Yeah. How has that experience been? Are you engaging with him regularly? Talk a little bit about what that day-to-day looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. I love working with Alan and the team, and the pod, concept that you guys have. That helps me tremendously. And the pre-sales aspect of it is really huge too. I don't want these guys just pushing a SKU with me, right? I have a Microsoft background. So I want to talk solutions. Let's talk solutions, and that's what your team does, and I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So in terms of solutions, can you give us a concrete example of some opportunities you've brought to Sherweb where you've leveraged our pre-sales for and have led to a positive quote or experience?
Absolutely. Well, I think the main thing was really getting into kind of the security side of things. You have to be mindful around security and everything these days. And the Office Protect product was an example of something that, Alan had mentioned to me. They got a subject matter expert on the phone, and we talked through that. And what I love about that is it's kind of like it's just a switch that I can turn on at any point in time and have enterprise type capabilities or E5 type capabilities with a business standard type of user.
That's great. So Brian's referring to our Office Protect product, which is a native MDR product developed for MSPs in mind, a bottom-up approach to security, leveraging our Microsoft 365 expertise and allowing our partners speed to market in that solution. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. And we were talking about the alliance stuff too. So, getting into the monitoring of it, and hey, somebody logged in from here. What should I do with that? Because that becomes a little overwhelming too for me. So that's another scalability factor for me.
That's a great point, because the product itself, Microsoft 365, I don't know if any of the people watching have ever looked at the audit logs of Microsoft 365.
We get in the weeds sometimes.
Your eyes will go cross-eyed. It's the Matrix. But what Sherweb does is that our team of Microsoft experts will take that effort off of your hands, correct?
Absolutely.
So we're going to be the ones that are monitoring it and have solutions in place to be able to alert you of what's occurring. That's great.
Yeah, and we're starting to look at some of the Azure stuff as well. So, getting into the virtual desktop and maybe even some servers in Azure and all that, So I think there's plenty of opportunity for what you guys have. And along the lines of security stack, we're really looking at, stacking those services on top of each other like LastPass. And the other thing too is Quick Help. People really don't talk about Quick Help. I love Quick Help. Quick Help gives me the capability to actually push phishing training to end users and things like that, and it's bundled as part of the, the overall license with you guys. So it's just, and it all plugs in. It's single sign-on and the whole deal. So it just makes it easier on the user. It's a great end user experience. And I'm just really happy with what you guys have done for me so far.
That's awesome. It's funny you brought up ClickHub. ClickHub is actually one of my favorite products that we resell.
Yeah.
Simply, not only is it a Microsoft learning tool, which, develop content around Microsoft, but as you touched on, and I really love that you're using it that way. You can upload your own content into the platform and then have a gamification aspect of tracking engagement, tracking users, and make sure that they're actually conducting the training. So that's awesome. So it sounds, that the things are going really well, and we appreciate that you are, diversifying into some of our marketplace offerings.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've touched a bit on product. We've touched a bit on pre-sales. I'd like to drill down a bit on operations. So from an operations standpoint, through our portal, are there things that you've seen that have made your day-to-day life, if not easier, smoother?
Oh, definitely. We have a small team. My wife does some of the accounting, and she's doing some of the marketing now too. So any of the automation that I can take advantage of, I will. And what I absolutely love is that you guys integrate directly with QuickBooks. I don't have a PSA. I don't really need to have one right now at this point in time. Maybe sometime in the future I will, but I can integrate directly with QuickBooks. So all my invoicing basically gets created by your system, and I bill directly from QuickBooks.
That's great. Yeah, we're the only provider in the channel that does integrate with QuickBooks. I haven't seen anybody else. And I've had a lot of opportunities that partners of all different shapes and sizes that have actually only come to Sherweb because of that integration.
Absolutely.
If you can save partners 3 or 4 hours a month of billing reconciliation, that's a huge value add.
It adds so much. Yeah, it just saves so much time. I think it saves so much time. So that's been huge for us. It's been absolutely huge.
That's great.
And it was actually kind of icing on the cake because I just, when I stumbled across it, I'm like, wow, I can do all this billing directly from QuickBooks, and I wanted to stay out of the PSA side of things. So my RMM happens to do ticketing, so I really don't need it.
Great. I'm not going to push you into a PSA. Don't worry. But it sounds like you have a good solution with QuickBooks. That's awesome. So we've covered a lot of territory in terms of, you touched on, we talked about licensing, we talked about pre-sales, we talked about account management, we've talked about operations, and, I guess I'm just interested in what's next. What do you see moving forward that you see with our partnership in the next kind of 6 to 12 months out? Is there specific products or services that you want to build out that Sherweb can help you with that? Or I just want to hear where we're going there.
Yeah, so we're fairly new as an MSP with this kind of, I don't really like to call myself an MSP, but we are. That's what we are. We get to the point to where we have to go back to our roots. Our roots is Microsoft Consulting. That's what I do, right? I do Microsoft Consulting. So I really don't have a lot of time to answer the phone and take calls from folks and all that. So we mentioned the licensing that you guys have, or the support that comes with your licensing for that matter. But there's also the GMS help desk side of things. So having those guys available to answer phone calls as they come in 24/7, 365 days a year, that's huge for me because I can be on a customer site working with the customer and they can be answering the phone and taking care of things. I've actually called them and said, hey, I want you to proactively do this for our customer, and they've taken care of it. So those sort of things for me are huge to be able to scale, to focus on that Microsoft Consulting side of things. And I will say this, you know, from a Microsoft 365 perspective, and even Microsoft Cloud for that matter, it's probably even worse on the Azure side, but it's only really 20 or 30% that customer is leveraging of that license, right? So my job as a Microsoft consultant with that background is to help them explore that other, 70, 80%. And the only way I can do that is having, the scalability, the ability to scale with what you guys have to offer.
That's great. That's great feedback for everybody listening at home. GMS is a help desk and knock company that Sherweb purchased about 18 months ago and has been a phenomenal addition to the Sherweb family of companies and has really complemented our partner services that go hand in hand with our marketplace offering. So they offer a variety of solutions, help 24/7, evenings and weekends, dedicated resources, support. And as I touched on, it's been great. How long were you a GMS partner before you came to Sherweb, or is that something you've added?
It's funny that I actually ran across GMS around the same time I was talking to you guys and didn't know that there was already a partnership there. So I was talking to their account executive at the same time I was talking to yours. So it just goes to show that you guys are willing to partner with them and what you bring to the table, together with that partnership for somebody like myself.
Yeah, no, it's been phenomenal, and we're not gonna let a good thing end. So we're gonna let them, keep doing their thing with their brand and keep rolling out and keep content. They're the experts, and it's also just been so good for us as account managers or business. I'm in business development to learn about GMS and to have these conversations with prospective clients, because help desk is, something that, most of our staff weren't trained on before. So now to be able to broaden our own knowledge of, what the industry is demanding, what the industry is supporting, especially in COVID times, staff augmentation is so key.
Well, and retaining those people is it's next to impossible for somebody like me, the size that we're at right now. I mean, I don't have the time for that sort of thing. And I'll be completely honest, I don't have the patience for it. So that's why we outsource. I'm just glad that it turned out that it was Sherweb and GMS that were already partnered. So that just worked out perfectly for me.
Well, so are we. We're super happy. So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've discussed what brought you to Sherweb, what sort of problems you were looking to solve. We discussed account management, licensing, support, pre-sales. We talked about operations. We talked about what's next. We talked about GMS. So I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you very much for sitting down and speaking with us. We always appreciate the partnership.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
So once again, I'm David Morosi. I'm a senior business development manager in charge of key accounts and strategic groups here at Sherweb. And we're super excited to be here at Robin Robbins. We have 3 more full days ahead. And if you're watching this, swing by our booth, or if not, give me a call. So thank you very much.
Thank you.